Say hello.
Hello.
Say who you are.
I'm Katherine Gordon and I work for Astroware.
Cool. And what do you do at Astroware?
I'm a web and games developer.
And because the reason she's all hunched up is because it's cold outside.
Yes.
And the Girl Geek Dinner is very noisy inside, so I thought we'd borrow her for 5 minutes and do a day in the life of you. So tell me about your typical day.
Typically, I'll be coding for most of the day. It varies between writing a new game, which is currently what I'm doing, working on new games, working on new concepts. We'll have meetings about various ideas and what we want to work into things. And we also have to deal with all of the beta testers' feedback, so there's reading forums and interacting with people who are trying out your game, looking through the bugs, trying to work out why there are bugs there and how to fix them all. And that's basically what I do.
Cool. So that was less than 5 minutes. That was like 30 seconds of a day in the life of you. What actually enthuses you to do your job? What do you enjoy the most?
Enjoy the most? The final product, getting a game finished and all of the build-up to that, having an influence on the different ways the game plays, making sure that everyone will be able to play it, not just the way I want to play it with my stylus, but the way other people want to play it with keys or the different ways the user interface might work.
And everything.
Everything. I just love it all.
You love everything about Astroware, everything about the games, everything about everything.
Pretty much, yes.
So how did you get into it?
Well, I started out using computers from a very young age. I've always used
How old?
Apparently I could type my name on a computer when I was 4.
Oh, I think I could too. What was your first computer?
A Pied Piper, which no one's ever heard of.
I've not heard of it. I was on the Commodore 64.
Yeah. My parents ran their own business, so we had new, strange computers as they were trying out everything to try and get what they wanted. And I was always allowed whatever was the old computer.
Right.
So, and I started playing games on them as soon as I was allowed to. And little bits of programming here and there.
How old were you when you started programming, dare I ask?
No.
Can't remember.
Not a clue.
Young, probably.
Young, yes.
And what was it about programming that you really enjoyed? Was it the problem solving or the design or what was it?
Everything. I really enjoy problem solving. It's a big part of it. I really like maths as well.
How much does that feed into what you do now?
Not a lot.
See, that's the common misconception that I always find when people ask me about technology. They assume that maths is involved, and
no.
The only time I ever used it was in degree course stuff. And I don't know about you, but
on the graphics side of the games, there's often quite a bit of maths, particularly if you're wanting to make realistic movements, if you want things to bounce. But it's as much about the physics as it is the maths. And there's usually someone else who can tell you what you need to write if you can't work it out, particularly at Astroware, because there's a lot of scientists around. What was I talking about? How I got into it?
Yeah.
And then I discovered web development, because that's really fast. And you can write a few lines of code and instantly there's something there and something tangible that people can see and touch and play with. So I became a web developer, which was all fun and good for a few years, and then I got bored.
You'd done all the web stuff, it was very simple.
There was not a lot of challenge left to it, because everything anyone said, oh, can you do this? Yes, I've done it before, here's the code. So I wanted to try something new, and I'd always wanted to do games. So I applied to Astroware for a games programming job, even though I didn't have half of the qualifications I asked for.
So you were daring enough to give it a try?
I just thought, well, the worst I can say is no.
And that's something people need to learn. The worst anyone can say is no, and you move on and you try something else.
Yes, precisely.
Or you try a different company. You just keep at it. That's one of the things that people forget. No is not a bad thing. No is no because.
Yes.
And you move on from that and you try and find those little bits to fit in the becauses sometimes. Or you turn around and go, well, that's not the company I want.
Precisely. Luckily, Astroware needed a web developer at the time. So they said, yes, come along, fix our website, and in the meantime learn how to do the game development stuff. Within 6 months I was working on my first project.
Cool. And how big is the company?
There are about 20 people.
And how big were they when you first joined?
About 20, well, 17.
17.
There were 3 of us joined at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Okay. Well, one piece of advice that you could give any young person that's thinking about doing your kind of jobs, going into technology, maybe into gaming, maybe into mobile device technologies, or even web design, what would you suggest to them?
Just keep trying. If you want to do something and you're not sure you have the right skills, just keep applying for jobs, keep looking out for new things, read up, try things out, try new languages as well.
And for the girls that are there that might not have considered it, what would you say to them?
It's as fun being a girl as anything. It doesn't make any difference.
I didn't mean in terms of being a girl, as in being a girl, and most of the girls being expected to have backgrounds in certain things like maybe management or something, and maybe have a flair for technology but aren't quite sure about going into that area. What would you say to them?
If it's something you want to try, then try it. People might say no, people might say yes, and you might find that it's the best thing that ever happened to you.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, and it's been great talking to you. Bye.